Hello, I am Gene Malone, Chairman of the Wicomico County Board of Education. I have with me one of the finalists for the position of Superintendent of Schools. This is Dr. Micah Stauffer, who is currently Chief Finance and Operations Officer for Wicomico Schools. His full biography can be found on the WCBOE website at www.wcboe.org/finalists. Welcome, Dr. Stauffer.
Thank you so much. I want to start by saying thank you for this opportunity. Thank you to the board members and all those that will be watching this interview for your time and consideration.
Welcome. This interview will consist of 3 questions, the same 3 questions each of the finalists will answer. You'll have 3 to 4 minutes to answer each one. Then you may have an additional 3 to 4 minutes to close with any information you would like to share to help the community better understand why you would like to be the next Wicomico Superintendent of Schools. Having said that, are you all set?
Ready to go.
Okay. Question number 1. Tell us what you consider the most important first steps that a new superintendent should take when entering the job. Please describe what you would do in the first 100 days as the new superintendent.
Within the first 100 days, the first thing I would do, and the main thing I would do, is listen. I think it's important for any new superintendent to really be able to engage the stakeholders and make them a part of the process as a new superintendent is entering into the school system. I think as we move forward together, the most important thing is that we engage all of our stakeholders, and also that we really look at the strengths that we have that we can build upon in our school system, the opportunities for growth that we have within our school system and the areas of concern that we need to address, as well as what our culture is currently in our school system and what the culture is that we want to be moving forward. So I think the most important thing that a superintendent can do coming into a position is to really listen and engage the stakeholders. And when I say stakeholders, I mean everyone from all parts of our county. We need to talk with our students and our families. I would need to talk with also our teachers and staff and support personnel, engage organizations such as Wicomico County Education Association, district leaders, elected officials, community members, and our business leaders as well. We really need to find out what our current reality is at that point in time and what can we do together and move together as a team. I think beyond that, it's also important for communication to occur. What are the things that I found out as new superintendent, the areas that we said we need to work on and the strengths that we said that we need to move forward with and build upon. And really, what do we value as stakeholders in our school system? If we value high expectations for learning, then that needs to guide our work as we move forward. If we value civility and respect among all stakeholders with the work that we do in our school system, then that needs to be a guiding force for that work as we move forward. So I think the most important thing a new superintendent can do is to build relationships with the members of our community.
Thank you for that answer, Dr. Stauffer. Question number 2. The pandemic has placed increased stress on students, staff, and community. What is your plan to address this mental and emotional health crisis?
I think probably the main issue that we have in our school system after the pandemic is this idea that I just spoke of, which is culture. We have a culture of division that is growing across our nation, within our state, and within our local community. And we also need, as a new superintendent, we need to bring everybody together and to unify around what we're all here to do, and that's put children first and the education of those children. We all want the same thing. What I want for my children is the same thing that I want for all children. I want them to be able to go to a school that's safe, has a positive learning environment where they can be engaged in the learning process, where they'll be challenged, and where they can reach their highest potential. So I think that's the first thing that we need to look at, is that idea of that culture of division, so that we're all on the same team and we're all moving towards the same goals. think the next thing that's important to look at is this idea of a culture of a new workforce, where we are experiencing extreme staffing shortages. We're retaining the staff that we are recruiting, and we're excited about that, and we can build from that. But the staffing shortages that we're experiencing across not only our community, but really across the nation, are putting additional pressures on our teachers and in our school system, and we have to address that together. We have all the pieces to the puzzle, I believe, but it's a matter of what picture do we want to create. And the only way we can put those pieces together successfully is to really work together as a team. We have to communicate with each other, collaborate with each other, and be able to build that culture together. And the last thing I would say is, as you mentioned, that culture of mental health. What can we do as a team to really be able to address the needs that our individual students have? This has been a difficult time within our community and really across our nation, but I do believe, as I said, we have all the parts that we need. It's just a matter of working together, pulling together as a team, and moving forward to address those areas of concern. We've added staff to address these concerns. We've added additional resources, and we have to make sure those resources that we have that have been provided to us, both from federal means and also our state as well, that we use those resources in an equitable and fair manner to really look at what needs that we have, what is our current reality within the school system, what resources can we utilize to address those concerns, and then move forward together as a team to do that.
Thank you for that answer. And the final question: in the past 6 years, Wicomico County Public Schools has moved forward under the current superintendent's vision. Please explain whether you would build upon this vision or bring a new vision, and why.
I think when we talk about vision, we have to talk about collaboration. And as we move forward with the blueprint for Maryland's future, we know that on the horizon that we're going to be addressing the areas of early childhood education, college and career readiness, recruiting and retaining a high-performing workforce. We're going to be addressing the areas of ensuring that all of our resources are distributed in an equitable and fair manner. We need to look at school climate and what we can do to address those issues moving forward, the mental health issues and some of the issues that are coming into our school system from the community. And we also need to be accountable for not only the funds that we're receiving to do that, but also each other to ensure that we're putting the right steps in place. So I believe the new superintendent needs to maintain the current goals that we have for our county. They provided us with an excellent foundation to be able to move forward to address those new initiatives. But what I do believe is the vision that we would create collaboratively together is really more about strategic planning. Now that we have those goals in place and we've built that great foundation to move from, what can we do as a group, collaborating together as a team, communicating with one another, that culture that I was speaking of that we would build within those first 3 months of my superintendency. What could we do at that point to really build a great strategic plan to take those goals and to put in place the priorities that we need to reach those goals and the specific action steps that we would take from that point in time that will go into every classroom in our school system. What can we do to make sure that we have the right steps in place? We're revisiting those steps, we're utilizing data, and we're working together to create that strategic plan that's going to help us reach those goals. Blueprint is something that's going to be in place for the next 10 years in legislation here in Maryland. All the school districts across Maryland will be working towards the same goals. But I think the most important part, what I believe would need to be a part of our vision that we collaborate together, is how we achieve those goals. And more importantly, what's the culture that we want to have in place that we've worked on together and collaborated together to make sure that that's the guiding force for not only how to reach those goals, but how to do the work that we need to do to put in place to reach those goals.
Thank you for responding to the Board of Education's questions. In closing, is there anything else you would like the community to know about you as a candidate for Superintendent of Schools?
Please know that the reason that I want to be Superintendent of Schools for Wicomico County is the same reason that we're all a part of this process. I'm invested in this county. I went to schools in this county and grew up here. My wife graduated from Y-High, as did I. My son recently graduated from James M. Bennett and is doing well now at West Point and college. And my daughter's a freshman at James M. Bennett, doing well in her activities in school. So the reason that I want to be superintendent is because I'm invested in this county, and I believe I have the strengths and the leadership skills to help us move forward together as a team. I started in this county 25 years ago as a substitute teacher and eventually became a science teacher at Parkside High School, an assistant principal at 2 different schools, a principal at 2 different schools, and then the director of secondary education, helping to lead all of the middle and high schools in our county. Most recently, the past few years, I've worked as the Chief Finance and Operations Officer, which means I lead the Division of Business and Operations. So that means I work with human resources, planning and construction, facilities and maintenance, finance and budget development, as well as food service. So I've seen the continuum of all of the departments and areas within our school system. I have that experience, and also I'm able to build upon those strengths and the skills that I've possessed, because most importantly, I've worked with the staff across this entire school system, and I've been able to hear the input that they have, the voice that they want to have as we move forward, and I think that's an important piece for any new superintendent. So I would just say that as we move forward together, please know that I've taken this process very seriously. It's been a grueling process, but one that I think that's important for the future of our county. I'm vested in this county, and I believe together as we move forward that there's a bright future ahead for all of us. We just need to work together, unify, put those pieces together, collaborate, communicate, and build the culture that we want to see. Thank you all for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Dr. Stauffer, and good luck. Just a reminder that the public can weigh in on the superintendent candidates through an input survey, now available on the wcboe.org/finalist webpage from May 5th through May 12th. Dr. Stauffer, on behalf of the Wicomico County Board of Education, thank you for sitting down for this interview so the community can learn more about you and be a part of the superintendent search process.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.